Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast with your hosts Geboss and Akainu Fanboy. And we are going to be talking about the final 2 episodes of Season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. So please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and maybe give us a recommendation of what other anime we should cover since JJK, the season's ended. So, yeah. So, we start out the episode kind of maneuvering through the wreckage of the whole of Shibuya with what's happened with Sukuna and Maharaga and Jogo and everything that's been going on. And we get to see the
lots of stuff.
Yeah, we get to see the fates of Panda and Kusakabe. So, did you expect Kusakabe to survive, or?
I think so. I think he's funny enough where he's good, and we just got introduced to him too. So that's kind of how I saw it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he could have been a minor enough character that Gege would have killed him off, but
he's dope.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think about his view on Yuji?
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's someone you don't know, and you see him wipe out an entire city, and just kill tons of people, and hurt tons of people in the process. I can see, like, okay, this is just like turning into an externality that we can't control. Like, we can't risk this anymore, especially when Gojo's out of the picture where he can't stop this.
Yeah. And like, I think that he's like one of the more understandable characters in this. It's not all about the power of friendship or whatever. It's like, no, this is what happened, and we need to prevent this from happening further.
He doesn't seem power hungry or like a bad person either. He's just like kind of a normie who's trying to understand the situation.
Yeah. And what I think is interesting, because we see with like him in the previous episodes where he's kind of like just kind of focused on surviving everything. He's like, oh, I want to lead Panda away from everything because I don't want to get involved. It's kind of more the selfish sorcerers that kind of live longer. And
he's also pragmatic. I wouldn't say it's simply selfish. It's just kind of this understanding of like, like knowing your limits and not jumping in and getting annihilated,
Yeah. But I mean, compared to someone like Nanami, who I think has more of a selflessness about him.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I just don't think it's pure selfishness. I think it's like also just a recognition of his abilities.
Yeah.
Like, he just knows, like, I'm just out of this league. There's no point in me getting killed here.
All I've got is a sword. I don't have anything that big.
No, exactly.
But speaking of selfish sorcerers, we go over to Mei Mei. So what did you think of this whole thing? Because this whole time we were under the impression that she was fighting fake Ghetto. So what do you think?
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to kind of really. So I guess from what I understand, she just kind of took off because she knew it wasn't going to turn out to her favor, basically, right? And then she's trying to sell off all of her financial assets before like the news of this disaster comes, basically, so she can make a profit, right?
Yeah. But it's like like, okay, she could have escaped, but she could have stayed and helped. I don't know. It's just I almost forgot about this scene because I think I blocked it out with the whole brother thing.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. Between this and the one scene with the flashback with the with the old lady posing as the daughter in that earlier in the season. I'm like, okay, that time out. But but yeah, I also thought it was kind of like a slap in the face, because she's in Malaysia, which is where Nanami wanted to go. But I think it's like ironic in a way, that she's kind of living out Nanami's dreams, but not for him.
Yeah, and it was interesting how Yuji was paired up with her in the beginning of this arc too, you know. And so, but she's now with him, helping him out or comforting him, but he's just having this mental breakdown, essentially, you know, where he's lost everything, you know, and she's just kind of chilling, you know. So like the traitor Mechamaru, in a way, was kind of more selfless than her, who stayed loyal, quote unquote.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Because I think,
you know, like
he had his selfish reasons, but he was also protecting the Kyoto students. So, and
he was also helping out Yuji too.
Yeah.
Right. Like giving him hints and things like that as well, you know. So yeah, so I don't know. He's like technically a traitor, he did bad stuff, but he's still kind of a better person than her, who stayed loyal, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we cut to Choso, kind of reflecting about his like implanted memory from Yuji. So I think we'll get into that later on in the episode when they go more into that. And then we get the whole interaction between Yuji and Geto and who saved Mahito. And so what did you think about what happened with Mahito there?
I didn't really like see it coming too much. Honestly, there's a part of me that was kind of not sure entirely what happened to Mahito, but from what I can tell, he was just absorbed as another power under Geto's ability, and where I assume he could just be brought back later as well.
Yeah. So, well, so Mahito gets turned into a spirit orb for fake Geto because he has Geto's ability to take her spirits and absorb them. And later on in the episode, it's explained that when I think it's a special grade curse spirit gets used up in an Uzumaki, that the caster gains their abilities. And that's a factor in the next episode, because I definitely had to reread like what happened with the whole transfiguration thing in the next episode. But yeah, that's basically what happened. So Mahito's basically used up at this point. But yeah, do you think that this is like a good end for his character, or what?
I mean, I guess now that you explain it that way, I think it is, because I think it kind of gives away. Okay, so one, it denies Yuji even further like satisfaction of finishing him off all the way, and then kind of Geto getting taken out by the last one of the cursed spirits to be taken out. Basically, it's done by the person who brought them together. So he's the one that does them in and everything, which I think is fitting too, because Mahito is just like a scumbag. So kind of him being defeated by his friend and everything, I think is like pretty good. Also a good point to it also.
Yeah, we'll go into more about the transfiguration that Mahito cast in the next episode. But yeah, I think it's kind of fitting, because like the whole thing when Mahito got absorbed, like he went to go attack Geto, and he's like, I knew it, after all, I was born from you humans, meaning that Mahito believes that, like, deep, like, because he's humanity's evil personified, so it would make sense that he would betray in the end. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because he was a great villain, a great foil for Yuji, but yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah. I thought it was a fitting end, and then it gets kind of you kind of see a good contrast in the next scene when you see all the team members and all the Jujutsu High students kind of working together as a team and everything. So it's just kind of like a good contrast, to the two factions right there and everything. And it was cool to see the Kyoto students like
do something.
Do something. See, I like their combos. I do like their abilities, even though they're kind of weak. Yeah. So no, it was cool to kind of see them go at it a bit, and you get to see like signs of all the wreckage and everything. So of the city. Yeah.
What did you think about Miwa's big moment, quote unquote?
Oh, I liked it. I like how it's just like, no, there's no power of friendship kind of thing. Like you're still weak at the end of the day. You're in over your head. It's a good character moment for her, even though she kind of failed the power. So.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny because it was meant as like a kind of like a big moment for her. Like I'm gonna put everything I have into this, and Geto just stops it. He just he doesn't care. And then to top it all off, he does the Uzumaki attack on her.
Yeah, and there's also that dimension of like Mechamaru, like, and her. They kind of want to break the power levels in a way. They think they could do it, but then they get swatted down. So that's just kind of how I view both of them and stuff. So, but it was kind of cool to see. Kuna. Sorry, the samurai guy. I'm blanking on it. Hold on a second. Starts with the K. Sorry, Sakave. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sakave, like seeing him like coming in to defend her, I thought was good too. Right.
Yeah, this is like where it's like, okay, he like deflected or countered like a full like Uzumaki with Mahito like imbued into it and saved everyone. It's like, okay, he's not a slouch.
He's not a slouch. It also shows like he actually does care to some extent. I think part of it, I might be wrong. Again, I'm an anime only. I think it might be a guy kind of like Kuzan, or he's just from One Piece, or he's just kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't really want to do much, but actually has some power in him and actually has a good side to him.
Yeah. And then we get everyone kind of converging together, including Choso, who confronts fake Geto, who turns out to be Noritoshi Kamo, who was mentioned in the first season. I don't know if you remember that, really.
No, I do not. No. Yeah.
I think he like showed up like one time when they were explaining like the cursed wombs and everything. But yeah, so you got you understood the connection between Choso and Yuji now?
Yes. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and also just to see how ancient he is too, I thought was like really fascinating.
Yeah, I will say that there is like one more piece of information about the connection there that I thought they were going to include this season, but I think they're going to have it for next season. But but yeah, it's definitely something to think about, like how like Geto's, or I guess I'll call him Kamo now, is connected to Yuji, who's connected to Choso in a way. I don't know if you've ever seen Bleach, but there's a memeable line where the big bad guy Aizen says to the main character Ichigo, he's like, "Oh, I've plotted out your fate since the day you were born," and I got like vibes from that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, and then we have this character's name, Uraume. It's like Akainu, where they have like the two vowels next to each other. It's hard to pronounce their name.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they come in and briefly square off against Choso, and then Choso fights Fake Ghetto, which they expanded on from the manga, which is, it showed like a good I really like the fight sequence. It kind of showed how strong Choso is, because he yeah, I mean, he fought Yuji, but I don't think he's that damaged compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
So he was kind of holding.
He took some good hits from Yuji. He took some good hits.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to everyone else, I think he's the least damaged out of everyone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, but it also shows like how strong, like, Kamo is with everything. He's like deflecting, redirecting the blast, and completely avoiding everything. Yeah, I thought it was a really good addition or extension. And then
and just seeing all the familiars that Fake Ghetto summons and everything was like, I don't know, yeah, it was just cool to see all the different ones pop up too.
Yeah, but then that comes to an end when Uraume like freezes everyone, and it puts them like in a like in a really powerful, like, power scaling wise, they're up there. They just froze everyone. And then we get Yuki showing up at the end. And I guess we can transfer this into the next episode's discussion too. What do you think about her showing up?
So obviously we only, like, for me, I only got to see her briefly in the hidden inventory arc, right? So I didn't get to see too much of her and everything, but I still kind of have this impression that she's not like the best person either, you know? Like, I see her as a powerful person because she is like a special grade sorcerer, you know, but like I also don't see her purely as a good human also, you know? And it was interesting to see her interact with Ghetto again, you know, because she was kind of the one that corrupted him, you know?
Yeah, led him down the path. But I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that's kind of disappointing that she just kind of showed up but didn't really do much. Do you feel that way, or?
I feel like if it got extended, I think it would have been a little much. There was so much in this arc already, you know. And I'm not sure. Kama is his name, Fake Ghetto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he would have got out of there, you know. I think eventually he would have lost, you know. And I think it's more powerful to see him go off, get out of there on a victorious note, rather than barely making it out by the skin of his teeth, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like he leaves with Gojo, and then he summons all those creatures at once, you know, the cursed spirits, right? So
yeah, so
a lot of W's, you know.
Exactly. So did you expect that? Did you expect Gojo to remain sealed?
Yeah, I think I just kind of felt like everything that was going to go wrong was going to continue to go wrong. That was just kind of my sense, you know, especially in contrast to the first season and to Yuta's movie and everything, you know, which are kind of like your standard, like the hero is winning, you're hanging out with your friends and your buddies kind of thing, you know. And this was just completely to turn it on its head, you know.
Yeah. It's like it's basically like the Empire Strikes Back of Jujutsu Kaisen. Everyone's at their lowest points and scattered.
Or the Subodhi Marineford kind of thing, you know, from One Piece.
But yeah, we even got, just really quick, we got a little shout out to Miguel. When he was explaining about that there's not many sorcerers outside of Japan. And then okay, so do you understand, because it's kind of a long explanation about like what Geto did or Kamo did with the transfiguration.
Yeah. How about? Could you give a breakdown? Because
Okay.
I would like to hear you summarize it. Yeah.
Okay, so basically he used idle transfiguration, which is Mahito's technique, to manipulate the souls of designated people. He basically cast the transfiguration on Tengen's barrier, which surrounds Japan. So the people that are within the barrier, so the people that had predispositions to become sorcerers, like Junpei from season 1, he unlocked the latent abilities within them.
Yeah.
And then that's the first group he awakened, and then the second group of people, he basically you know how Itadori basically gained powers and from eating Sukuna's fingers, which is like a cursed object. So I guess in all the times that Geto had been around or alive, he had collected enough cursed objects to implant into people to awaken in them people from the past, basically, like how Sukuna's from the past. So they're going to take over their hosts of the people that they're implanted inside of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing going through it. So it's regular normal day people got their abilities activated, and then other people who ate cursed objects are being possessed by older sorcerers from the past.
Okay.
And then that leads into basically into season 3, which is, they've already announced that's covering the next arc, which is the Culling Games arc. And those.
So did he feed the cursed objects to those various people? Like, did he do that himself?
I think it's assumed so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and all those characters are going to be important to the next season. Which is going to be interesting, because I've read up to the end of Shibuya, and I've kind of skimmed through the next arc. I know some of the plot points, but I'm kind of blind going into it too. But yeah, and then we see like all the cursed spirits like show up and get away, and basically the giant power vacuum and everyone that was thrown in disarray by this whole situation. Which they didn't have to do that one family like that, where the spirit came in out of nowhere and ate them while they were watching the TV.
Yeah. It was really ominous and just terrifying. I thought they did that scene pretty well. It was just like, yeah, just everything's gone to shit. And like, this is what the world looks like without Gojo, basically, And I like how you just hear them talking. You don't actually see a lot of them. And you see the back and forth communication and how everything just kind of looks barren in the city,
Yeah, and the hole keeps getting bigger for the affected area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
which
see.
I thought was interesting. Yeah. And then, sorry, you go. Yeah.
Well, we see the basically that there's like actual consequences. It reminds me of kind of how, I don't know, some arcs, like in stories, they kind of gloss over the ramifications of it. They're like, okay, on to the next thing. I think One Piece does this pretty well. Like, it shows like the consequences of Luffy like rescuing people and taking out major
or
characters.
Whitebeard dying, and then
exactly.
all chaos breaks loose.
Yeah. It also reminds me of like the the end of the Chunin exams from Naruto, where like the village is destroyed and Orochimaru killed the third Hokage and everything, and the vacuum that left. But yeah, and then we see the little girl in the convenience store being lured by one of the spirits that emerged from everything, and I'll let you talk about this next section.
Wait, so real quick, were all the spirits were they released from Geto's power, or were they also released by people who were getting possessed by the curse objects and everything too, like these spirits and everything?
So I think Geto released them. I have to double check on that.
Okay.
But no, I don't think it had to do with the transfiguration.
Okay. Yes, he just like released all of them at once, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just to maximize chaos, kind of. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
And probably a good way for him to escape too, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, the scene. I assumed someone was gonna save her. I know this arc was dark, but I didn't really think they were just gonna kill off some random girl just cause. Like, I like in terms of just all the attention they were putting into the scene, you know, the build up and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it just seemed like a little overkill, you know. And yeah, I was surprised at the same time. Because I guess I know a lot of people are like, where was Yuta this entire arc, you know? And then but like he was in Africa during this time though, right?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, cool. And this whole arc is only taking place over a couple hours, right?
Yeah, it's literally one night.
Yeah, so people were like, "Oh, Yuta should have been here," like talking down on him.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I mean, it's a couple continents away. I mean, come on,
exactly.
You know, so, but so no, it was insanely hyped to see him because I think you see how powerful he is. He just one shots this powerful spirit, or two powerful spirits, whatever, the girl, whatever, and then you kind of see like a confidence here that he didn't really have initially, but it's still his character at the end of the day, you know, like he's getting introduced kind of similar way he did where with Rika, right? Where he's trying to be protective of a young girl and everything. So it's kind of reaffirming his character where he just wants to save people and he's really kind and sweet, but he still has that confidence. And then we see Rika pop up and just annihilate that monster at the same time. And he doesn't even blink her face. He's just smiling the entire time, you know? So it's a good mix of like his character and his confidence too, you know? So you see character development while maintaining who he is fundamentally, which I liked a lot. So,
yeah. So,
sorry, go. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, were you confused about the whole Rika situation? Because I know a lot of people were when this dropped. So I've read up a little bit about it, and I think they explain it later on, but it's kind of like a throwaway line. Do you want to talk about it or no? Just to.
I wish we could ask the people listening to this.
I guess I won't say anything for now.
Yeah. You could always tell me off stream if I decide to ask more. But yeah. So I thought that was curious to see her back. I hope it's a good explanation because I kind of feel like it undercuts the whole plot of the movie and the resolution and everything. So I just hope they kind of handled that well because I thought it was a powerful moment where he like let her spirit go away, and I hope the way they kind of do it, you know, like, yeah, it'd be cool to see her back, but at the same time, that was like the whole point of the movie is that he separated himself emotionally from being possessed by the spirit, you know. So that's just kind of my only concern, you know. Like it's cool and hype, don't get me wrong, you know, but yeah. And I guess we should like kind of, but yeah. Anyways, it was super hype. I freaking was yelling when I saw him go on the screen, but because like I think he is like my favorite character in the show so far. But I do think it was interesting to see his interaction with the council, or the elders, whatever you call them. You know, So basically, they tasked him with hunting down these spirits, correct? And then, basically, he has been tasked to take out Yuji now, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will clarify one thing about Inumaki. He only lost his left arm.
Okay,
it
not
said,
both arms.
Yeah, it said arms in the subtitles, and it's one arm. It's his left one.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
So putting on my little tinfoil hat, I'm just going to put in the prediction that he didn't get his arm taken off by Yuji. Because if we see in the next consecutive points, we see a lot of lies put out by the elders, you know. So that's just kind of one little theory I have for myself there. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting theory.
Yeah, but I think that kind of goes with his character, like, oh my gosh, Samurai Sword guy, Kusakabe. Kusakabe. Okay, sorry, Kusakabe. Okay, it's similar to Yuta. You're not friends with this person. Okay, you don't know this person. You see him just kill thousands of people potentially, right? And then he gravely wounds like one of your best friends, right? I can see, like, from an outsider perspective, like, yeah, I got to put this guy down.
Yeah.
You know, like, and he was probably the cause of, like, what led to all these cursed spirits getting let out to in some way, shape, or form, you know? So I can see the logic of Yuta there, right? And especially we see how rabid he gets when one of his friends get hurt. Like during the movie with Geto.
Yeah. When
Geto, like, it looks like he killed all three of his friends, like, look how he just snaps, you know? Well, he seems like more under control, but he does seem like a lot more menacing now too. You know, like kind of similar to when Gojo gets hella serious too.
Yeah.
You know, he has a playful side, you know, but then he has like that, you know.
Yeah. He's had a whole year to master his powers, so. Yeah. I kind of wish that this was the last shot of the season. Like, I will kill Yuji Itadori. End of season. Instead of what we got. But yeah, it was kind of a weird note to end on, with Yuji on the bridge summoning the spirits to him. Oh yeah,
I think it's like an attempt to end it on a positive note, though. Like I'm slowly trying to get better again. I think from what that's how I interpret it. He's about to train, you know, like I'm trying to get back on the horse, you know.
Yeah, end off with your main character. But yeah, what do you think of the points that like Geto's execution was reinstated, and that Gojo was labeled an accomplice in the incident? What do you think about that?
I think it kind of makes sense because, like, they never liked him, you know.
Exactly.
They never really cared, right? You know, like, and I guess, like, they could try to kill him in the cube or whatever, you know, but I think it's in a way easier to blame him and then for them to take the blame themselves too, you know. And also throw it on the principal, you know. Like,
I thought he was just collateral. Like, what did he ever do? he just made Panda. Yeah,
I know. He has all the little stuffed animals, bro. You can't hate on that. And then, but I also think, like, there's kind of this dimension of, like, I don't know much from the elders from what I've seen so far, but, like, you can see if I were to give them benefit of the doubt, good intentions, maybe I shouldn't, but it's like, oh crap, we have the chance to execute this guy, and then he just destroyed this whole city, you know. Even though they really haven't been doing much of anything, you know, to prevent stuff or to stop stuff, you know. And I bet their arrogance probably caused a lot of this stuff to happen with fake ghetto and everything in some way, shape, or form. They probably contributed to this. But I think there's kind of that dimension where they could just be like, we told you so. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a dour note to end on, but you want to see more. Like, you want to know what happens in the next season. I think personally that it would have benefited from one more wrap-up episode. Because just what from I know from the manga, there is a little bit more wrap-up, but I guess that can be saved for the beginning of season 3.
And I did find it was interesting to see. Oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on her name. The blonde special grade leader. But yeah, to see her want to find Tengen, you know, because we've only heard his name dropped a couple times, you know, and I can see why she might have an issue with him, kind of with her philosophy and things like that too. And
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like the domestic society, like how they, you know, they just absorb people too for Tengen to keep on going, you know, and they just kind of throw people away, you know.
Well, in the hidden inventory flashback, it was revealed that she was a former candidate for the Star Plasma Vessel. So she has.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So she has kind of like a weird relationship with him too. So.
So
yeah.
She was about to be absorbed like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
for the greater good, which hasn't been specified what the greater good is. Maybe it's just stability for the sake of stability, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a really, really well done season. Overall, between Shibuya Incident and Hidden Inventory, I kind of almost prefer Hidden Inventory because it's like such a short, concise story that works really well. But yeah, hopefully this will have more prep time than for season 3, because I don't think this had much pre-production time, and it showed like the schedule hecticness and everything. But I wouldn't hold my breath. But yeah, final thoughts from me.
We were given confirmation about the Elder Zenin guy who was fighting. Yeah, we didn't get any indication what happened to him.
To him or Maki.
Yeah.
Last time we saw them, they were just kind of on fire. So I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. But I'm just gonna say, like, there were parts like that were kind of confusing over my head, but I kind of like that. It gives me an opportunity to learn more about the series, even though it's kind of hard because I don't want to look up stuff because then I'm gonna get spoiled, right? You know, so that's kind of where friends kind of come in with that point, unfortunately, you know. But I do like it's challenging for me to kind of understand entirely. I like that, but also I just like realize how masterful the connections are. I'm gonna rewatch everything again because I want to see more of the connections fleshed out of season 1. But Hidden Inventory arc and the JJK movie was like pretty fresh in my mind, and seeing just the connections with those in season 2, I thought it was just like phenomenal, and a lot of respect for the series to see the intricacies and connections with this lore, you know.
Yeah, I think this is really where this has cemented itself as one of the best newer gen series that have come out. It's weird to say newer gen because this might be like, this is us who have been fans since like in the early 2010s of anime. But yeah, I'm excited for season 3. Just there's one part that I know of that's gonna be so hype. I want to see what anime onlys think of it.
Gotcha. Well, I might start reading the manga, so we'll see.
Yeah. But anyway, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you have any suggestions for any anime you want us to cover, please let us know in the comments, and we will talk to you guys later.
Peace and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.